easier.
Okay.
Start playing more. Working life gets in the way.
Yeah, for sure.
I just have no concept of my backswing follow through. Just looking for some tips to get more consistent in my ball striking.
Cool. Okay. Any lessons before?
Years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All forgotten.
All right, well, let's start with the driver. I'm sure it's going to be the same stuff with the driver as it is full swing. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good move. Okay. So, based on how you swing it, you've got a lot of good stuff to it. And I think that, there's not going to be a whole lot of changes that you need to make the ball farther. It's just a little bit more about how you get into your finish. I think that your swing is pretty good. You've got a lot of good motion in your swing. Setup looks great. Your grip's awesome. So as you take it back, I think you've got a lot of turn. You've got the club in a pretty good spot. There's not a lot there that we can change to make you hit it better. Okay, I think things are good. As you come into the golf ball this way and swing into it, I think a lot of the stuff that's happening in the downswing is a result of this back foot and back leg not really moving.
Exactly.
So, when you don't get your body all the way up into the finish, then the club and your arms have to take over in the swing. And the biggest thing that I want to get to today is that you can feel like you turn the front of your body, especially the front of your thighs, your legs, toward the target at the end of the swing. That's going to be the biggest thing today. Yeah. It's going to be across the board with all of your clubs. So, in the finish, we're trying to make sure that we can get the body leading the golf club. Right, so my body's turning through into the finish and then the club can come through after this. If we get a scenario where the right leg stays down too long, not only do we have weight on it, but it prevents my lower body from turning through, so now my upper body takes over. You kind of finish this way, where your upper body's in front of your lower, rather than the other way around. So like the PGA Tour logo is a great image for you to look at, in the sense that when you look at it from this way, right, you can see that the right leg has caught up to the left leg, right? The upper body's tilted back and the arms are out here in front. Like the logo to this golf club, TPC Toronto, just like that. And so I think that our goal today is going to be trying to feel as though that your lower body gets to the target. That's both thighs, both pockets, face the target this way. That the right knee catches up to your left foot. And then from there, it's going to feel like you stand tall with your upper body, almost like you're leaning back like this. And so what that's going to do to your ball flight, first of all, it's going to speed it up, right? We're going to get more speed out of it. But by getting forward more, now we don't have to rely on the golf club swinging through. Because when we're holding the club, right, you're using your gas pedal and your steering wheel as the same thing. And if I can get my arms to kind of come down this way, get all their speed, come right down before the golf ball, and then I use my body to push things through, it keeps the face more square, keeps more angle on it so it can go up. But the momentum that we're going to get from right foot to left foot is going to increase your speed.
I feel like I'm not doing anything down here, to be honest.
Yeah, and so I think that if you want to stand right here for me, I think the first thing that I'd like to go with today is a feeling of where you're trying to get to in your finish, trying to get your right leg all the way to your left foot, okay? trying to feel like you can swing this club and time this knee touching that knee almost at the same time that the club hits the ball. Right? And I've got myself off my back foot, which therefore pushes me forward. It also rotates me. Right? I get my turn in there as well. So if we can try to time this up where you feel like the club hits the ball at the same time that the right knee touches the left knee, we're going to get that thing much straighter. You show me a couple of those? I've got a bag of them here. Let's make a few practice swings to start.
Yep.
So no ball, just a full swing, hold your finish. Now, one way it's going to be hard to get the foot forward is if the feet are too far apart.
Okay.
So if I'm trying to get my knees together like that and I put my foot down, that's as wide as I can get my feet. I can't have them. It's about a width of a shoe, with the length of your shoe.
Okay.
Okay. So
even with the driver?
Yep. Yeah, it gets narrower as we get wedges, but doesn't go wider as we go longer with the club. Okay, I love it. That works. Yeah. So make a swing, hold your finish. And hold it there. Okay. So try and get the knees to touch and then feel like you lean back. Lean back. There. That's it. One more time.
Leaning forward.
Yeah, exactly. Like you were bowling.
Yes.
Not bad. So the right knee is going to feel like it's the closest thing to the target, and everything above the knee is going to tilt backwards. Going to lean back. Hey, not bad. So, with regards to how fast you swing, getting the right leg all the way to the left and kind of, squeezing it almost makes it feel like it's like a kickstand. It's a balancing move.
Yeah.
So if you want to hit the ball harder, you want to swing that club faster, you're welcome to do it. I think there's an idea in golf where if we just take it slow, then we'll be able to do it better. But the faster that you can move that club, the straighter the ball's going to go, so long as we do it the right way, right? So if you have more power, more energy there, go ahead and give it a little bit more speed.
Okay.
All the way into the finish with the knees like that. Let's see a couple. Try and pretend you're a long driver today. Good. One more time. Try to feel like your knees forward and you're leaning back before you swing the club up and through. Yeah. So what makes my arms and club get to the ball and go past it is my body swinging them this way, not swinging my arms past me.
Lunge down almost.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could be a feel. Good. I like that a lot. Hey, well done. More speed there. Cool. Yeah. So it's because we're focused on where you are at the end, right? We have to think about where you're trying to get to all the way until you get here. So, it's going to change the rhythm and the timing and the feel of your swing in terms of like you're used to taking it back and then swinging it through. We can't
Forgetting this part forward.
yeah, we can't take it back our normal way, swing it through our normal way, and then tweak it at the end to change it because you'll already be there. Exactly. So feel as though that what you're trying to do is put your knee forward, your upper body back. That's where you're trying to get to, and then make a swing that allows you to get there. That's the only focus is the post-impact finish position. There you go. I like it. Definitely a different look. Good ball. Way to go.
Is there a drill for the follow through?
This is kind of it.
Practice.
This is it. Yeah. It's first.
I haven't used my lower. I don't use my lower body. That's why.
Yep. And so we'll do some exercises today that kind of get you a little bit more active with your feet. But first step is really understanding like how do I get here? What is this like? So every time you finish your swing, regardless of where you are, try and make sure you tweak it, right? You push the knees together, lean back a little more. Okay, that's where I'm trying to get to, and your body will start remembering where you're trying to get to like that. But try to like hit the ball and then fix the backswing, and continually go through that route, just so we can make this the focus. But again, like I mentioned, if the takeaway is the same and the downswing's the same, then the finish will be the same. And trying to do that within another swing, to fix it in another swing, makes it harder. So do whatever you've just done and then fix it from here, and then start again. So every time you hit it, your body's getting a feeling of what it's like to be in the right spot, even if we fake it and exaggerate it at the end. Yeah. So let's, like, I would say maybe 20 balls with the driver. Then let's get just a couple shots off the ground, and we start hitting it off the ground. We'll start doing some footwork drills. Okay, cool. Lower body exercise number 1. Okay. This one's a fun one. So we're going to tee these up just a little bit off the ground, nothing crazy. And the idea here is to get the right leg a lot more active, get this thing through the ball better. So we're going to try and feel like that you're going to step off this back foot and the foot's going to pass the ball and take a step, right? And I feel like my foot passes the ball at the same time that my club passes the ball, right? There's my rhythm to it. And take a step forward. And all this is looking to do is to give you the feeling of getting off your back foot, obviously, but it gives you the momentum into the shot. If we're going from here and we're staying on that back foot, it's like the Jays pitcher staying back here, throwing and then leaning, right? Need all that 200 pounds of everything to move forward. So trying to time it up and get a rhythm to it, that's going to be the first step, right? Trying to make sure that you can get the flow to it all. But I want to take the biggest step forward that I can. I want to take a long step forward. If I step too late, that's the one that's a little step forward, right? But if I step too early, you'll notice that it almost catches my whole weight. Like I end up jumping because the momentum of this as I'm in the air gives me a boost. So that's the first one. Let's try that one. Ooh, yeah. No.
Should we be pushing off?
Yes, it'll feel like a big push. And you're just going to step right through. Good. But you want to feel like you step before you swing it.
Before you hit it.
Yes. Hey, that was different. Yep. We'll get the timing right. I guess I didn't bring my bag of teas either. Shoot. See if you can get some from the back shop, guys. They have a bunch there. I got one. Oh, thanks.
So when should I be thinking of?
Before the club gets to the top of the backswing?
I should be.
I mean, I would say before you even start the swing in general, right? Like set up to the shot, knowing that, hey, by the time I bring this club back, I've got to start walking forward. But once you find the rhythm and the feel to it, you'll get it. It's, you know, you'll know when you start moving your body's momentum to help swing the club faster. Try a couple practice swings at full speed. Okay? As fast as you feel like you can do it. We can go slower when we hit the ball. This is a big athletic kind of movement. So I want it to feel like you're doing it fast. Good. I like it. Nice. Nice. Great contact. That ball went far.
Yes. 1 out of 20 though.
Yeah. Well, once you get the feeling of one, it's, we can repeat a rhythm and a tempo way easier than we can repeat like certain swing positions.
Sure.
So, the biggest thing that we're trying to get to here is trying to get this right leg further forward. So if we just walk through it, it's going to be that much different. I mean, we can get to a point where we just go and kick it forward if you want, because all that's going to do is just give you the feeling that this right side catches up to my left side, that I'm all the way up there. And, if we have an idea in the swing where we're trying to take it back and then hit the ball from here, then that's when this is going to stay kind of still. But if I can take it back from here and my idea is to turn my body to the target to make the club move, that changes things a lot, right? It makes the club move because my body's moving rather than the club's moving because my hands and arms are bringing it down. Now, it's like conceptually, like if we sat around the campfire and talked about golf swings, we'd all want to try and accomplish the same thing. But since we do things differently, right? You do it completely different from where Ethan is. Like he's trying to go up to the top and he's trying to use his arms more because he goes from here and uses his body too much, leaves this thing too far behind. So it's something kind of in the middle of that. Good job. Way better. Okay, so now show me a couple shots just getting into the finish we talked about. We'll kind of go back to what we talked about first off.
Just the finish?
Yeah. Right knee all the way over your left shoe. Just this part here. Push through and lean back. And let's get to that finish. Nice. Great finish. So sequence of events to get into this finish, right? I make my backswing. I try and feel like my lower body's trying to face the target, right? So both front pockets start to turn toward the target. And then I get tall with my lower body. And when I get tall with the lower body, it makes my upper body tall too. And that's how I can finish like that. Make sense?
It does.
Okay, so like the way that you take the club back, like changing a backswing is not going to help you hit the ball better. I'd love to be able to sit there and say, hey, like if you found all these new positions,
Right there, yeah.
but like it doesn't work that way. That's more cosmetic. That's like, hey, you don't do it like Tiger. If you did like this, then maybe the stuff later on would help. But it's not true. I mean, if we think about the fundamentals of the golf swing, like club speed, impact, you know, it's not grip, stance, posture, and alignment. Or none of that. Because not like I could stand here like this, okay, you're perfect. Great, but the ball's not moving.
Yeah.
Right? So a fundamental to swinging the club is that first we have to make sure that the club grounds out in front of the ball. Right? So the divot starts in front of the ball. If the weight's too far back, that's going to make the club ground out early and rise up into the ball. So the more that we can get off the back foot, the more forward we are, the more thump we can get into the ground. But that momentum transfer from right foot to left foot is a speed source for you. So we want to make sure that before I get into asking you to speed up at a certain time, which we might get to, is that I want to see that you're able to get your body here at the same time that the club hits the ball. And sometimes the arms have swung past the ball and then you've got into your finish. So it happens late. Okay. There you go. That's a different move. Yeah. So mechanically trying to get your right side forward and sequence-wise trying to make sure that that happens before we speed up the club into the ball. You're just using the arms and shoulders for sure. Now, that's a common pattern, right? It's a common thing for people to do. I mean, we don't do much where we try and launch our lower body ahead of our upper body, right? And it makes sense because, you know, my arms are here. I control them with my shoulders and chest. Why don't I just spin this through? But it just leads to some problems when it comes to distance and height. Exactly. Yeah, but you're on the right track. Okay. I like it.
Thank you. It's coming.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, we've talked about our ideas. Now it's going to come to a point to understand, like, hey, if the ball does something, what is it that I did there? And most often when the golfer leaves their back leg back there and unwinds the chest in front of it, that's going to make the ball go low and start a little bit to the left. So the more that we can get the golfer to go from here and get off their back foot and finish tall, the more that shot goes out to the right. So there's a relationship there because both of those scenarios affect the direction that my arms are going to go in, right? So I think that the first checklist is to feel as though that in the finish, the knees touch. right? Or the thighs squeeze together, right? So if we can hit some shots just feeling as though that it's back and get the thighs to squeeze, and once they squeeze, it's all over, that's a great place for us to start, just to get the thighs to squeeze. The next step to all this is trying to feel as though that you can get the thighs to squeeze right when the club hits the ball, right? So it's not only getting it done at all in general, but then getting it done at the right time. And I think that this is the one where it's going to feel that you have to initiate getting your knees closer before you initiate putting speed into this club, right? So it's going to have to be a bit of a change in your power source for that. So feel like the club stays back a little bit as you try to get the legs together. But I think that all the misses that I'm seeing have to do with the grip of the club outracing your right leg or passing your body this way, right? And that in the swing doesn't really happen. I take my club back to my right side and I leave it on my right side until I hit the ball right here and it catches up to me once I've finished my swing there. But I don't want my grip to pass the middle of my body in the swing, right? Maybe for a bunker shot, I want the club head to pass my body like that, like no problem. But for anything where we're trying to hit the ball with some type of distance, we want to keep the club to our right side as we turn the body through. And that is what's going to get your legs over this way, almost like you're hitting the ball off your side here, instead of hitting it where we start. So you can think of it this way, that this is my starting position with the club pointed at my belly button, and it doesn't get back to there until I'm here. And then it passes and goes up. But if it's going from here and it comes down, passes the belly button at the moment of impact, that's the one where this stays back. And it's almost like I used the pitching a ball analogy. It's like pitching a ball from the chair, right? I mean, how far can you throw it if you're sitting down? Right. And I don't think we need to talk all the fancy golf stuff in terms of like hip rotation and all the fancy stuff that's in magazines. That's not what we need to do. We just need to feel as though that your right knee moves forward. And if it moves forward, it takes the rest of above the knee with it, right? You get your hip turn, you get your chest turn, you get your finish, you get all the stuff that we need simply by getting the knees to touch at the end. So we can just time that or make it somewhat of a slower swing and really get the thighs to touch at the same time that the club hits the ball. And you'll notice that with that swing, I don't have a big follow through, right? I'm only swinging like my arms are still down there. But if my leg stays back and I swing my arms through, that's the one where my arms finish really high. And if my arms go high like this and my body's leaning forward like that, this is what's supporting all that. And that's where we get back pain. So, golfers only started to get back pain once they stopped wearing three-piece suits. But if you had a suit on and you were trying to make a swing the way you did, you'd rip the jacket open. Right? So by trying to feel like we can get the body standing tall and forward at the end, right? That's kind of how I would wear a suit and it would like fall off me. Yeah. So in terms of what we have to get to unwind into the finish to create power, we have to get the lower body to unwind first, and then it pulls the upper body toward the target. But, I mean, personally, with my golf swing, I've always had a tendency to unwind the chest a little, a little bit early. And that's what basically causes poor driver shots for me. So I've had many, many swings where I feel as though that I get my legs facing the target, but I'm still back here. I haven't unwound my upper body to the target yet. And that's getting kind of a twist of my upper body's turned to the right of my legs, and then I turn my legs to the target. I don't feel like I face the target at all, right? And that's just getting that right sequence or that right twist into play. Right? Here to there. And if I can keep this where it is, right, I get my body twisted and I can get that club to release differently. So let's pitch something like that, trying to make sure that we can get, the knees squeezing, the thighs squeezing, get it all into that finish spot.
foreign concept for me.
Totally, and absolutely, and it's so. Let's talk about just like the golf swing in general here for a sec. In order for me to create power with my body, okay, let's just say I go to the top of my swing like everybody else does. What I need to do in order to create the power is my lower body turns and then it stops. So my lower body turns, it's creating a stretch, right? So my lower body turns, it stops, and when it stops, those muscles stop stretching and unwind my upper body, right? And so I've got lower body to upper body twist. I then have to move, once my shoulders start to move, that drags my arm, right, with the club with it. And when my chest stops moving, that's when my arm blasts off. When my arm can blast off, then it slows down, and that's when this comes. So there's just as many decelerators in the swing as there are accelerators. And so, like, if I sat on the hood of your car going down the highway, like, I feel like I'm going 100 until you hit the brake, and then I go faster, right? So brakes are important. And I think that the biggest brake that we can find today is the braking to the chest. So we need a gas pedal to the legs and a brake to the chest. So when you finish your swing, you might feel like your lower body's facing the target, but I also want you to feel like your back is still facing the target. And that would just be the opposite twist of legs, back, and chest through. Right? So if we can get that sensation that I get to the top and my back faces the target and I leave my back there as my knees squeeze, that's really going to unleash the arms in a different way. It's a great way to change the power and the speed. But we might be getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit if it's hard to get the knee to squeeze in the finish. Because that's like, I started there because that's the first step. And just trying to feel like it's a touch and I'm done. As soon as they touch, my swing's over. Initiate with the legs. Try and get the legs there first. Yep. If you move the legs, it's going to move the club. That was a different motion. Way to go. Give me that one again. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So those are way better in getting into your finish, right, with the knees and the legs. Now, it's hard for me to now say, hey, we need to swing the whole thing faster, right? Because I'm trying to get you to get
used to it.
the knees there before the club. But at some point, I want it to feel as though that you're putting this club down a little faster. So set up to a shot, take it up to the top of your swing. Let me give you an idea of where it actually feels like you're swinging the club fast. So all the way up. Okay, and crank it up. Okay, so if you had to chop my fingers off here with the shaft, that's the direction and the speed I want you to give this golf club. It's not that way.
Yeah, no,
right? It's not toward the target.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel like you can chop that down as you get the knees together. So give me a practice swing. Hold it at the top. Okay. So as you still get the knees together, that's when you're trying to chop into my hand.
Forward.
Nope. Just need to get the knees together. Yep. Good. As this is chopping down, right? Like if there's a big block of wood right here, I'm trying to get you to chop the wood straight down there. But like that's not where the golf ball is, right?
No.
And I think at times when you're swinging the club down, you're putting your club and your arms in the direction of the target. When they have to feel like they go down this way, what gets them in the direction of the target is me putting my knees together. So it's like, it's two different motions. The club only wants to go down, but the body turns through, and when they join together, they meet up with the ball. So get the wrists active, throw those down there. Yeah, good. Again, one more time, into the circle, into our block back here. Yeah. Watch this. Ethan, show me what you're trying to work on in your downswing. See that?
Okay.
That's what we're trying. That's where your arm speed is. But if you take the arm speed and then go toward the target, that could be a reason for the back leg staying back there. So one more time, take it up to the top for me.
That time was all arms. I wasn't moving my legs.
All right, so take it up. All right, now it's going to feel like this goes that way, right? So here's my foot, okay? This is the direction I want you to try and feel like you put the club in as you get the knees together. So chop down, knee squeeze. Yep, chop down with knee squeeze. Good. Let it go through. Swing all the way through with it. Good. Chop down hard and knee squeeze. Good. So if you get the club to accelerate downward, okay, that's where the speed comes from. And then by getting the knees to turn or to squeeze, that brings the downward chop, which is behind you, around to the ball and through. But there were a couple times there where you got the downward part to happen here, and then from there, you push the club through all the way up to here. Like if I was really chopping wood, I wouldn't chop down and then bring it back up again, right? So it's strictly down. So I'm going to go from here, down that way, right? And if I can get it down that way as I turn my knees together, the club swings in that direction without me trying to do it. But if we're trying to use our arms to get this club to not only go fast, but also go forward, the gas pedal and the steering wheel is the same thing. Very difficult to drive that way. So down, right there, okay, as I turn my legs through, look where it ended up. I didn't put my arms over there, I put my arms down there. It's the knees turning that put the club on the ball. Not bad. And this is where it starts to get like the swing's going to start to feel like it's shorter. Like it doesn't require so much movement to make it happen, right? I can make all of this stuff happen fast, and I don't have to bring the club through very far. Because if I chop and release it the right way, and I get my body to stop in the finish, I'm pretty much over by then. The science guys that mess around with robots and stuff talk about that if the club hits the ball and stops as soon as it hits the ball, that's the one that's going to go the farthest, right? If I had like a whip in my hand and I was going to whip this ball, notice how I never bring the handle of the whip past the ball to do so. So we don't want speed past the ball to the hands, arms, or club. All I want to feel like is I'm trying to get the club down into the ground as my body turns this way and stands up. And if I turn and stand up fast, you can see where it shoots my arms and club to, right? So if I stand up really fast, now it looks like I did a full golf swing because my arms are all the way up here, but I didn't bring them up there. Okay. That was different. Good job. Give me another one all the way to the knees. Good job. That's a great shot. You thumped the club into the ground. You got your body to turn, which made the club come out of the ground. Awesome. I like it. Comfy with this? Okay. So if you've got the right words and you've got them in the right order on the list of what you've got to do, from here, the more you do it, the more you'll accomplish you'll get some feels. But feels don't come from like, hey, put the club over here, feel like this and hit it. Feels come from concepts. So the more we can get the chop, the more we can get the knees together, the taller you can get on this side, you'll have a bunch of feels in your elbow or your arm or whatever, but they show up from our concepts. So don't try to repeat a feeling. Okay, awesome.